Greetings everyone and welcome to another draft of Wilds of Eldraine. Now this time I probably will first pick the rare from the pack, not only because it's a mythic rare and I already have basically completed the regular mythic rares from the set, because I have enough picked them and enough packs collected so that I will be having a full set of mythics whether I redraft this thing or not. But this just is a good card. And yes, it is a two-color card, uh, but it is splashable. It's it is a card worth splashing, and then this pack doesn't actually have that amazing cards. No premium commons, and the uncommons are not the greatest either. So this is a rather easy pick. Of course, I want to be just blue-black with this, but I'm willing to splash it if I'm just blue or black. If I get the splash tools. Here the good cards are Monstrous Rage, but also the Witch's Vanity is good. And the Curiosity can be good, but it requires certain kind of cards, either flyers, cheap flyers, or then the catapult thing that can just be a nice machine with the Curiosity, of course. The commons are not worth considering over the uncommons, and by the uncommons I mean these two. And if I didn't take a blue-black card, I might consider the Monstrous Rage, but the Witch's Vanity is still really good. It quite often gets an actual creature, or at least a token, a rat token or something like that. So, and then you get a food token and a wicked token as a bonus feature. So it's good enough for sure. Here, alright, well, the Rat Catcher Trainee would be a very good pick here, I think, if I took the Monstrous Rage. Red is, of course, a very strong color in this set, has a lot of powerful commons and, of course, uncommons as well. But now that I have gone like this route here, I think I'll just take the Dragon. I don't like, third picking in a draft a 6-drop, but I can just maybe try to make this blue-black thing work here. I would, if I took the Ratcatcher Trainee, which I think is the second option from this pack, I don't like the cooped up that much. I would be like giving myself the option to maybe go black-red, or of course I can still be white-red, things like that. But let's take the Dragon now that I already have a blue card in here. And, well, there is a quick study for sure. Yes, that would work with this deck. It's just not a very high pick. It is really easy to find card draw effects for blue in this set. There are two commons and of course some other high rarity cards as well. So it's not a high priority, but I could take it. It's the only card that would go to a blue-black deck. A Tale for the Ages is a build around, but can be very strong. There's also Sir Armont. This would be going to the same deck. There's mostly green and white here, though. I'm thinking if I should actually just go for the Sir Armont here, or maybe the Tale for the Ages and just abandon the earlier picks. I'm gonna actually take the Sir Armont. It is not quite reliant on certain kind of scenario, because I really think that the card draw instant there is just not important to take early. Whereas if it ends up so that blue and black are not going to be open at all, and I'm getting past more green and white, I'm very happy to have the Sir Armont. In that case, this is a quite strong card for sure. Now, with that pick, am I supposed to take like a mediocre blue or black card, playable but mediocre, or something like Curse of the Werefox here, which would work in a green-white deck. There's also Two-Headed Hunter, but I'm not going to take a red card now when I have no red cards in here. The Frostbridge card is okay. I think I'll actually take the Curse of the Werefox. It's gonna work in the deck that has the Sir Armont. And what do we have in here? Well, I think it's somewhat safe to say that the blue-black isn't necessarily going to work. There are two cards, not dead after all, and Diminisher Witch, but I didn't get like the premium stuff. Definitely didn't get a Candy Crabble, but not even the 3-mana black removal spell at common, which is not as good, but I haven't seen that one either. Here I could actually even be a blue-green deck, maybe splashing for the Sir Armont, because I think I will take a Trojan here. It is the best card out of these in the deck where it fits. And I have the Archive Dragon here, which really makes me want to have this. So I think this might be a blue-green deck, maybe with some splashes. Yeah, definitely blue-black isn't an option here. There's no black here. And a couple of blue cards. And the spell starter would be fine, but nothing like too great. Will I be interested in a spell starter win in the blue-green deck? I could actually splash the Talion in the blue-green quite easily, and I would. I'm not sure about the genealogist here. I think I'm actually taking the spell starter here for now. It is a kind of a 2-drop. Another Tale for the Ages. Oh boy. Alright, so this also has some, playable blue cards. It has the Crystal Grotto, which I would be interested in if I was blue-green. But there is a Tale for the Ages, pick 8. Can the other one come back to me? And would I just force the green-white after that point? I guess these are kind of I'm gonna keep the option open because this can be an incredibly strong card, of course. So let's try to see if that's gonna work. I'll take the Frostbridge card if I end up green and white after all. And here I can take the Vantress Transmuter. I'm not going to be blue-black, but I can be green-white or green-blue perhaps. Or, white-blue is an option too. I think the Vantress Transmuter is more likely to be a good pick for my deck, whatever it's gonna be, than Curiosity. Alright, I'll just take the Prowler here. It would actually be a decent card in the blue-green deck. And here there's a Return from the Wild, which I'm happy to take if I am blue-green, splashing for the black. Okay, I didn't get the other tail for the Ages, but I suppose it was quite late. So it had only a small chance to come back to me. This wasn't the one I saw because this was pick 8, and of course pick 8 is a pack you haven't seen earlier. Alright, well of course this is gonna be a Croft Triples. It's easy pick here now that well, if I wasn't green already, I'm definitely now with this pick. What else would I take? Like, go back to blue-black with the Obira. I mean, there's no reason to do that. I have 2 decent black cards in Talion and the Witch's Vanity here, of course. But there's no way I'm gonna pass up a Groove Triples now that I have picked already some green cards in here. So let's just pick this one. And I would actually just want to be now blue-green because Trojan is really good, of course, with the Groove Triples too. It basically enables a turn 4 Groove Triples, and that's pretty, strong, as you may believe. Now, nothing too amazing for the blue-green. I'm not sure how interested I'm gonna be about another Transmuter. It's a nice one-off usually. I'm not going to splash the Witch's Vanity, but this thing I'm really happy to consider splashing. But I'm not gonna splash like a double caster. And I really want to be blue-green because of the Trojan here. This pack is just not very good for that. There's a Scarecrow Guide which would allow me to splash this slightly easier. And it's a 2-drop. Fairy Fencing, I don't like to splash this in decks that don't have a lot of fairies. I don't know if I'm gonna get them. And this Tome Seeker might be unnecessary as well because I don't know how many instant sorceries I want to be even picking up. Now this is of course not showing great stuff for the green part of the deck. There's nothing in green. And this would now work with the blue-black deck, but you can't really blame me for taking the amazing Bomb Rare in Craft Triples when I already have a Trojan here that helps me cast it. But yeah, this would have actually been a good continuation for the blue-black deck. I'm not even sure what would be the peak. Maybe the Fairy Dream Thief. But for my deck, I think the Belluna's Gatekeeper might be, or the Crystal Grotto, the options here, or the card draw spell. But I think I'll take the, Tempo card early, and then which you can cast out later on. Okay, well here I could play the Spellscorn Coven even in the green-blue deck. And I think I have to, well, I don't have to, but I will play green as a main color. This is of course triple green, so obviously not splashable at all. So I'm gonna just, despite not having any green being passed to me in this pack too, I'm gonna just be drafting green, and I'll take the Evolving Wilds. It helps with the splash, it helps with the triple green cost here. This would be like fine, but not maybe that important in the end. Alright, return to Wilds number 2. I wouldn't mind having. That said, there is another Evolving Wilds and a Disdainful Stroke, which is a decent card, you know, especially from the sideboard. I don't usually main deck it, but it can be an amazing sideboard card against certain decks, of course. Not so good against certain decks, and that's why I'm calling it a sideboard card. Alright, so I think because I have already one of these, I'll just take another Evolving World. It's kind of fixing without costing me a spell slot. I don't care about stuff like Gingerbrute in here. And alright, this is fine-ish. I think I should cut the white stuff and the Witch's Vanity here. I'm not gonna play the Ceramons either. So Galvanic Giant has a really decent adventure, and sometimes I just don't like that it's an underwhelming 4-drop. I could take the 2-drop, I could take the stopgap. I'm actually gonna try this. I haven't really played a lot with this. If I can get some more accelerating, I have one return from the wilds and one Trojan here. If I could get one more, I could play the 7 mana card. Also, I could play the Mocking Sprite. It makes the adventure of the giant cheaper, of course. Here I will just take one of my, favorite cards in most blue decks. This Coralsmith does good job in offense and defense, and digging. It digs stuff when I need to. I can always trade with it, and then the Scry2 will be a nice thing to have. Here I think it's just gonna be the Living Lectern. It blocks early, and that's pretty much all I care about, given my cards in here. How about here? This does give me like a bargain for there's another Coralsmith too, but I do like the Scavenger. I'm gonna take the Scavenger. The food can sometimes be just nice just because of the life gain involved with it. I might just take the Candy Trail too, just to fix my draws a little bit and have some extra life gain, which I might need. And here, I don't think this will be a Gadwix's first dual deck. This could be a sideboard card, but I'll just take the Grotto because I'm going to splash. Even if the Talion is going to be my only black card, I'm still going to splash it, and I can take an Ice out here. And I got the second return from the wild, so this is a only. It's not exactly a one-trick pony, but I definitely need something more for the early game. Now I do have some ramp and things to ramp into. That's like the one trick, ramping to stuff. But I need some defensive 2-drops if I just can get them. But can I? I don't like to really have another Living Lectern here. I guess I could take the Tempest Heart. That's better as a 4-drop as the Galvanic Giant. This is just a 3-3. This is at least a 3-4 that grows. Now this thing stuns, but it's more important to be a good blocker, and the extra toughness matters there. I'm gonna take that. I can also use the Adventure here. But I need 2-drops. Okay, well I get 2-drops here. I also get a 1-drop, which I'm gonna take. But I would be happy to get this pick 10. It's not impossible. I have seen this card go late. It's a nice defensive early drop. But here I'll just take the Fae, of course. It's not exactly a defensive early game drop, but it's just such a good card that you really don't pass this if you are playing blue. Yep. Alright, Agatha. Okay. I'm not taking the Mythic Rares. I still wanted to check whether I do have a playset of them, and I do. Anyway, I'll take another Trojan. That's of course the pick. There would be a Hamlet Glutton, but I actually do have enough expensive stuff now. So I just want to have things that ramp into it. So now with 2 Trojans and 2 return from the wilds, I shouldn't have too much trouble getting my 6-drops online. Okay, there's one of the card draw spells in the format. This is the rare one. And the uncommon one is, of course, well, there's the Galvanic Giant, but there's also the Hatching Plans, of course. And there are 2 commons. Would I prefer it over the Attendants, though? I think I might prefer one card draw spell. I have so much mana accelerating that I should maybe benefit from that. I don't think I want to splash the Greta, it's not that amazing as a splash card. I'll take the card draw spell. Another Greta here, okay. Yeah, don't know if I care about the splashy spellcaster. I'd prefer my 4-drops to be a little bit bigger than 2/4s. And I have here 4-drop creatures already, I don't need any more of them. So is it gonna be a Crystal Grotto? I don't necessarily want to play multiple Crystal Grottos. They basically make the Groove Triples more expensive to play. Okay, I'm gonna take another Candy Trail. I'm not sure if I'm gonna play all that, but I might. Alright, well, that's a decision between, I guess, 3 things, because even the Territorial Witch Stalker would be interesting because I need some early drops more, but I mean, these are just 2 a lot more powerful cards. I guess I don't have that much stuff for the up the beanstalk. I have an expensive adventure here, but I will take the Vanguard here. Now I definitely have enough things to ramp into. Now I just need to have a healthy early game, and the Territorial Witch Stalker will help there. I have to cut a bunch of cards here, but I guess I'm gonna find my cuts here. I don't need the stopgap necessarily. I'll just take the 2 mana thing that can be used to trade early. I think that is quite important. And I get the spider food for the sideboard. I don't really necessarily want to play multiple living electants, so this is a decent sideboard card. Let's take that. And another one of those. The freeze in place is not really... I don't even know what kind of deck wants to play it. Alright, another Prowler here is, I think, quite nice. And this won't actually matter. Okay, I guess there's a Water Wings for my sideboard and another Witch Stalker. So I ended up, I would say, with enough 2-drops. So this is the first time I'm playing after the patch that happened on 24th of October. And I'm a bit confused, but maybe not too much, because as you can see, I have these cards I have in my deck, but these are just the regular styles. Under my face, by the way, there is Siramont and there's the Trojan with these arts. So I guess when I see this kind of the in-deck collected and in inventory. Alright, so I guess this means that I can just, if I don't want to use these, sort of a special art versions of these cards, I can just switch into them. But now basically every card in here that has this bright spot on top of them, they already are in my deck. So if you're wondering why I'm not playing all my Trojans, where I am, these are the 2 Trojans I picked. But this is something related to the art. I think this is a little bit confusing, so maybe this wasn't supposed to be how they wanted to make this thing work. I understand people might want to use the original arts, but this actually seems like I have now 2 Trojans in my deck and also 2 Trojans in my sideboard, which is not the case. I have only 2 of them total and both of them are in my deck. Anyhow, let's not worry about that anymore. 29 cards. Well, I'm gonna have some easy cuts. I'm definitely cutting the Living Lectern and the Spell Stutter because these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2 mana cards, that will be enough. Ice Out I won't be needing. I don't think about the I don't think the Coral Smith is that interesting either. Sorry, that is. I love this card actually. But the Mocking Sprite. Yeah, the idea was that it helps, well, it does help with the Farsight Ritual, but mostly the Galvanic Giant, the Storm Reading Adventure would be cheaper. But I have enough 3 mana spells and I prefer to run all of them over the Mocking Sprite, so I'm gonna cut that one as well. And 19 creatures. I have actually no interaction. Well, except for the Curse of the Werefox. I guess my interaction, and well, okay, there is a transmuter that can make the opponent's cards some creatures smaller, and I guess that is a little bit of a bounce spell, but point is I basically have trouble killing creatures. But if you have like a big high impact creatures yourself. Maybe you don't kill that many of their creatures. You want to be able to block them, and I can block their stuff early, and then I can overwhelm their creatures with my own bigger creatures or creatures with evasion and stuff like that. So yeah, how about the Curse of the Werefox? I kind of want to play it because it is one of the few ways I actually can, deal with the creatures early in the game before I have gotten my big hitters. And I even have the Territorial Witch Stalkers, which is actually, I mean, if you can consider curving out and so that I have this on turn 2, then this curse here is actually gonna make this into a 3/4, so it's gonna be quite easy to fight down anything they might have played on turns 2 and 3, depending whether I'm on the play or draw, because the 3/4 will be able to fight most things early in the game without dying. So I do like that little combination, and of course later in the game when I have one of my bigger hitters here, the Curse of the Werefox is a somewhat reliable removal, so I'm going to play that. Now the question is though, am I going to not play something like a Galvanic Giant? This is also, by the way, a 2-drop. I usually like to put the Gatekeeper to the 2-drop slot because it is something I can do early in the game, assuming the opponent also played something. But yeah, I'm thinking about the weakest 4-drop here is the Galvanic Giant. I could see using these as a sideboard card rather than a main deck card. Then again, draw 4, discard 2 with double Trojan. That can be quite doable actually, and drawing 4 and discarding 2 is strong. It's also instant, so you don't have to tap out on your own turn for this effect. I have played, I don't know if I have played with this card at all, or at most like only a couple of times. I don't actually recall casting Storm Reading at all in this format. And I won't be having that many drafts anymore after this, so I will try to do things I haven't really done yet. This is, I think, a weak card, and this should have, just like with the Tempest Heart, the 4 mana, if you don't use the Adventure, you can have an acceptable 4-drop, 3/4 Trampler that can grow, get a couple of counters. Whereas this is just a 4 mana 3/3 that maybe taps and stuns. Now, tapping and stunning is strong, but given that this is an uncommon, this could easily be a 4 mana 3/4 as well. Maybe they didn't want to have too many 3/4s. Blue already has a common 3/4, white has a common 4 mana 3/4, but this thing should have something else. Maybe like a, I don't know, Ward 2, if it's a 3/3, something like that. But anyhow, it doesn't. But I want to play it now that I have, because I haven't really played with that thing. I'm gonna cut one Candy Trail. I want to play the second one. I also think I want to play 17 lands. Now, the 17 lands with double Trojan and double return from the wilds is, of course, quite a lot. But I also have a lot of expensive cards. I have the card draw spell here, maybe another one here if I can have access to 7 mana. The final cut will be quite tough. I do like the Scarecrow Guide. I want to put one swamp in the deck because with double return from the wilds and the Scarecrow Guide, and of course I do have 2 Evolving Wilds. I have the Crystal Grotto, by the way, too. This is enough. I would say this is enough ways to cast the black spell. Yeah, the last cut, or just playing 16. I think playing 16 lands with a deck that has such a mana curve than as this is a mistake. I also like the Scavenger because it is, it at least threatens to be a 5/4, which can help, with trading with opponent stuff. Yeah, I think the Troublemaker Oath is the worst. Can I play without it so that my idea would be to have like 5 2-mana creatures and then the Bellunus Gatekeeper as the 6th thing to do on turn 2. I usually like to have 6 things for turn 2. That's by no means a guarantee you have stuff to do on turn 2, but more often than not you will have stuff to do on turn 2. So I think because it's just a 2-mana 2/2 and I don't know if I care about the ability it has. This is the weakest card I have here. I like the 2-3 as a blocker much more here. So I'm gonna play it like this, with one Candy Trail, with these 2 drops, these 3s and 4s and 6s in here. And of course I will just add lands. So I don't play the counter spells. I'd rather have the creatures than counter spells. Yeah. So add lands here. I don't think I forgot anything. No, it's a little bit confusing because I'm seeing here a Belluna's Gatekeeper that I want to maybe consider playing, but that is already in my deck. So I think this is... Can you filter this in anyhow? Like, I don't think you can even filter away those things that already are in the deck. This is weird, I would say. Okay, so I put all the lands, you know, the fixing lands, I mean. I put 1 swamp, and then I will have... I have even a mix of green and blue, but of course what I do have is a triple green card in the deck. Now I have somewhat easy time to cast it because of the fixing lands and the Trojans and the return from the wilds. But here I basically will add, because I already have the swamp here, 13 more basic lands, so that's like a minimum of 6 forests, and then I could consider either playing 8 forests with no additional islands, or just put 1 additional island and 1 additional forest. But the triple green it's a tough one. Now the thing is, I also have double blue here. But I think it's still better because of the triples. It's a lot bigger deal to have a 6-drop that requires 3 certain colors of mana, 3 of the same, than a 6-drop or even a 5-drop that requires only 2 of the same. So I think I need to run 8 forests in here. Also the forests I need regardless for the return from the wild. So let's see, my starting hand is 3 forests and a return from the wilds, among other things. I think that would be an acceptable keep anyway. So all depends on the other cards, of course. But the point is that these actually I can consider as islands number 7 and 8. And of course the Evolving Wilds here too. Yeah, anyway, I don't think I will have trouble hitting my double blue spells or the single blue spells with this setup here. It's fine. Not the most reliable mana base, but I have some nice power as a balancing factor here. I could also sideboard into the Witch's Vanity because I would say that most red-white and red-black decks have so many early drops, 1 and 2 drops, that it's definitely worth considering sideboarding this in. But I don't like main decking this card because the mana value 2 is a little bit restricting, whereas the mana value 3 or less, which is the black common instant, deals with anything that has mana value 3 or less. That's a lot more flexible. All decks will have some reasonable number of creatures that cost 1, 2, or 3 mana, whereas there could be decks that play only like 3 2-drops, 2 or 4 2-drops, and then I might not get any target for this thing. So that's why I'm not gonna main deck it. So this is the main deck. Well, this definitely is a hand which would be a nice keep if I had one of these forests was island or other land that fixes my mana. Here I have basically 0 castables. I'm gonna mulligan to 6 here. Wow, this is disappointing. I'm actually even playing 17 lands. Having a 2-lander into 1-lander here is just really annoying. I still keep it because I mean, I need to get lucky anyway if I go to 5, so I might as well get now lucky and get a couple of lands early enough. What is the card I don't need? It's the Vantress Transmitter. I'd rather have these creatures that can block, and this can, you know, maybe even destroy something like a gingerbread. Whatever it is, the 1-drop. Alright, well this is a good one. I definitely won't keep anything that's not a land. Even the Talion, it has to go. Besides, I'm gonna shuffle my deck regardless with this Evolving Wild, so it doesn't matter what was the second card. So I can just get my food here and do this. And this is gonna be, of course, an island, and then I can get the swamp with this, because while this is now on the bottom of my deck, I will shuffle my deck, and it can be at any spot after that. So I can use the Vanguard if I need to make this into a smaller one, but we'll see what I draw. So they actually missed their land drop, which could be a good news for me. Especially if I don't miss my land drop here, but I did, so it is a little bit awkward. I kind of want to draw a card with the Candy Trail, just to try to hit a land drop. But what I could also do is just use this Vanguard here, get rid of this thing, and then next turn I can play the Witch Stalker. It's not the greatest, but they are missing land drops too. Not anymore. So we'll see. If this thing can survive, I can play these things quite quickly. Okay, that's gonna... Whenever an enchantment enters Scry 1, and then it can be pumped if they have enchantments. Alright, I'm gonna play the Witch Stalker now. I didn't. I have drawn one land only in this game now. After keeping a one lander after mulliganing to 6. I don't think their keep was that bad. So this actually doesn't pump at all right now, because they have no enchantments at all. So, and of course I'm gonna block here. I don't care what tricks they might have. I mean, assuming they don't do... Okay, they don't even have an attack. So the Witch Stalker does its job now. Okay, so if they cast spells on my turn, my creatures get smaller, but it doesn't really matter now, because... Because my creatures won't be that small here. Now, the Gutsy Explorer doesn't actually add mana for spells that, cost less than 5 mana. So this would be a good play now if I knew I'm gonna draw a land. Otherwise, this return from the wild is much better. Or I could even play the Hollow Scavenger, or I could play the Sleep Cursed Fairy and then have the Candy Trail. Actually, let's do that. I like that more, because I want to... I have a chance to now get a land drop for the next turn with 2 draws basically. And I also want to have this on the battlefield so that it actually starts to block at some point. I'm not going to sink mana on this untap ability. At least preferably I won't have to do that. But the Witch Stalker is doing a good job keeping these guys at bay. Okay, they only attack for 2 in the air. And I suppose they might just play the 3-3, but it's just a 3-3. As long as the Witch Stalker is keeping these 2 guys at bay, I'm very happy about how this game is going, considering that I mulliganed and kept a 1 lander and missed some land drops. Alright, this is good news now. This is now sadly not very great mana efficiency here right now. I guess I could play the Scavenger and then, it can block the Knight here. But I really would want to play this thing too. But I think the better idea is to just do this. And now I can block the Knight, even, sack the food to have the Scavenger survive here. But they are gonna have some interaction at some point, are they not? I would be surprised if that's not the case. They can attack for... Okay, now we will see what they do for the Besotted Knight here. I could double block it too. Then again, that would be really bad if they remove this in response. They could have a Candy Grapple. I think I still try to, I could let this happen if they pass now. Okay, not yet after all. Well, no, I'm definitely not doing that. Because I maybe have my Scavenger survive here. Maybe. it will come back as a 4/4 of course, and then this thing will actually be able to pump. If they have 6 mana, they can pump it twice. At least threaten to pump it twice. But they still have 3 cards in their hand, of course. Could even be a rat out for the scavenger. Although a rat out with the dream spoilers wouldn't be. I mean, it would be good regardless here. Okay. I was hoping to get a land. Although the Storm-Killed Prowler is actually quite bad against the dream spoilers now, I can't give these counters. I mean, they will have the opportunity to cast something at instant speed to kill it, so maybe it wouldn't be that great. I'm at 13. This will not untap yet. Yeah, a land would have been good just to be able to activate this ability, maybe. So the question is, am I gonna play Trojan? If I am, then I would tap out for this thing on the next turn. I can just play the Coral Smith, which gives me some scries. I can double block the Besotted Knight. And I'd rather play my blue cards here now also, because I have only 1 blue mana source for now. Okay, so am I going to now triple block the Besotted Knight? I think I'm going to triple block it. Yeah, that's the safest way to do here. I don't care which 2 of these. I mean, they're not gonna even kill 2 of them if they have nothing, but they might have a removal spell, and then I can still deal with the Besotted Knight, because I will still have 2 creatures that will total to at least 4 damage here. So they would need to have 2 tricks here to make this a bad one, and if they have 2 tricks, I wasn't going to be in a good shape regardless. Maybe they just have another not dead after all, but it wouldn't be a big deal. They might have the flyer, the 3/1 that kills something that got dealt damage. That would be good for them. They would kill the scavenger and the witch stalker. But they are thinking about their stuff. Okay. That happened. So far so good, but if they have the 3/1, then I don't like it. I lost a couple of life points because... Okay, just a Knight of Doves. They should have played this pre-combat, because they just had an... enchantment go to graveyard, so they would have now a 1/1 flyer. Maybe they didn't expect a triple block. They had like 1 trick, but it wouldn't have been good enough. Okay, now I can untap the Sleep Cursed Fairy. So I think what I'm doing, I do need blue mana for that. So I will be playing just this thing now. Get the 1/1 as well. The food token wouldn't be bad because the 3 life could matter. But I guess I take the 1/1. And now the question is, am I going to get another blue, which wouldn't be bad, or the one of Swamp, just in case I happen to draw the Talion here. I do have the triple green for the Groove triplets here, so it's going to be either an island or Swamp. I could use the island, but then again... I'm going to take the Swamp. And I'm not playing the Storm-Killed Prowler because I plan to untap the Sleep Cursed Fairy in here and block the Dream Spoilers. If they attack with it. It's possible they kinda have forgotten it has the ability to untap. Or they might have a trick that, you know, makes the attack with the Dream Spoilers into the Sleep Cursed Fairy good regardless. They might have a +2/+2. There's a white trick doing that, for instance. But we will see now. I'm not gonna take 2 damage. At least I'm gonna make them use their thing. This is my only flyer though, of course, so it is quite annoying to lose it. I might actually get dealt a lot of damage by the Dream Spoilers alone in this match. I mean, in this game. but we'll see. By the way, they do have priority because of the keep guard, so if you're wondering that they might have a trick, they might not. It's possible the only thing they have is this activation up, which actually doesn't do anything right now, because they don't have enchantments. So now that I untapped that thing, let's see what happens when I block with it. At least they didn't have a candy grapple, so maybe they have +2/+2 on the dream spoilers, which of course would be fantastic for them. Okay, they had that. That's fine. They used their turn to deal with that. I do need to, of course, have something to deal with the dream spoilers, but we'll see. Okay, I have now. I can, by the way, loot with this thing. I can use this. So here it is. Probably even. Well, I can't because I didn't get the island. I can't now do two things. I'll just play this. I mean, I kind of miss out. Wait a minute. No, yeah, if I got another island, things would be definitely easier. Then again, I could have drawn the black creature because that's actually flyer and would work against the dream spoilers. But now I have not such a good turn. I guess I'll just play this. Although by playing that I miss out on the good stuff on the Prowler. But I guess I'm gonna start the race now. I could attack with the Witch Stalker. I still have enough blockers. I'm going to attack with the Witch Stalker, not with the Coral Smith. Because it's possible I have to try to race in this game. Yeah. This is only 2 damage in air for now. They might get more 1/1 flyers with this thing now. Grasp of Fate. Okay. Well, that's bad news for me. That is very bad news. They get a scry from the keep guard, but yeah, now. I mean, they don't still have a good ground attack unless they have a trick available. Now they actually don't have mana for this, so it doesn't seem like they have a trick. So if they attack now, it's not a good attack at all. So I mean, of course, with the dream spoilers, but with the ground creatures, not so much. So I'll take the 2, but now that they had to remove all there, well, there is second blue now. I wonder if I'm supposed to keep pushing here for damage. I think rather than play this draw for discard 2, I actually prefer to play these creatures first. So if I do this, I can attack with the Coral Smith and pump it even twice. I'll try to deal some damage here. Of course, it was to be expected that they have some interaction, but I really hoped that it would have been some different kind. Not the kind that deals with my 6/7, but you know, white and black are very good colors at dealing with big creatures. So I need 5 mana, which I have here. So let's just deal maximum damage in here. Do this, and do this. Now I played all my lands, so the discard 2 means that I might discard something important, but that I will get to still keep the best. Basically, I will have a draw step, and then I will have, I mean, assuming I don't have to discard this card right now, I will have a draw step, and then of course drawing 4 cards and discarding 2. So I will have the best 3 out of my next 5 cards if I get to untap with the Galvanic Giant in my hand. And the Trojan makes casting it, you know, cheaper in the sense that I only need to tap 5 lands. I will have 3 untapped lands after that. Alright, so their clock got faster. And also now this thing, if I kill this thing, every enchantment going to graveyard for them makes me lose life. So I think I might have only basically... Yeah, I can't outrace them. That will be incredibly difficult now. But it was a difficult start with the Mulligan and with the missed land drops there. I'm actually happy that Witch Stalker did such an amazing job beating these guys, but It also seems like they drew 5 lands and then all gas, which doesn't help at all. It's pretty optimal for most decks to never draw more than 5 lands. Okay, let's see. I at least got to untap here. So I'm gonna do this right away. Of course. So 7 mana total, that's 5, 6, 7 I guess. Might still get draw the black card. Discard 2. Alright. Well, the Curse of the Werefox. Now this thing has a ward 1 now, unfortunately. So if I want to use, and I think I do want to use, I mean, it's still not great because they are actually getting a 1/1 flyer, and they are getting a. I'm gonna go to 3 life here, but I mean that's the best I can do here. I have to play the Curse of the Werefox, targeting the Stormcloud Prowler, fighting with this guy, paying for the ward. So I'm gonna discard, of course, the legendary creature and the second Witch Stalker or the card draw. I think I will need the card draw. No, sorry, not that, but this land. No, I need to play the land. No. This has to be it. This has to be it, and then it has to be. I guess I could use the Coralsmith too. It's also possible. Am I gonna attack first? Is there a chance they're going to block with the Wicked Visitor or even the Knight of Doves? If I attack, I have only 3 blockers. That's really bad, so I can't even attack. So actually I'm gonna do it like this. Fight with this guy, yes I am sure, and I will pay for the ward here. And they get a 1/1 flyer, I go to 3 life now from the Wicked Visitor, so at least their synergy is doing work. 1, 2, 3, 4 ground guys, so I guess I could attack with one of my guys, which would be the Witch Stalker here now. Can't block the flyer anyway. Yeah, I mean I need to win the game, so my reasoning is that if they have more interaction. Okay, I'm actually very happy they block here. I'm gonna be dead regardless, so I hope they have no way to push more damage here. By the way, this is not 4, but what I have 3 blockers. I don't know why it's at 4. Well, now I'm pretty much dead. I was regardless, but now I will be, because I'm gonna. Yeah, I mean I wasn't gonna beat the bird here, but because this doesn't of course have any vigilance, they can just attack with everything. I'm tapped out, and this is lethal. Okay, fine, whatever. Let's go to next game. I wasted enough time and made some. At least a questionable attack, but it was very hard to beat. I mean, even if they just have anything with bargain with the Wicked Visitor, because this would have put me to 1 life regardless. Any bargain spell, eating the Grasp of Fate with the Wicked Visitor would have been enough to make me lose here. So it was just I gave them too much time by struggling with the curving out here. Anything I care about the Water Wings, it's good against the Kellan's Light Blades, it's good against Grasp of Fate, and it's good against the Flyers if I want to surprise block them. So there's like maybe a reason to play it. The Scarecrow Guide is. I don't actually like it now that they have the -1/-1 effect available, so I will cut that. Maybe just play the Water Wings here. Now the Witch's Vanity would not deal with. Well, it would deal with some of their stuff, but not with too much of their stuff. Galvanic Giant, I think I will now cut. I need to be a little bit faster, so I'd prefer having maybe like a Troublemaker Oath would work, because it can deal with the Grasp of Fate, and it's a 2-drop that I can use to block early. So let's not the Toadstool Admirer, the Oath goes in. I'm not sure if I care about the Spider Foot that much. I saw 1 flyer And one enchantment I want to deal with, nothing else. That's not enough targets. The oof is at least a 2/2 always. Counter spells, not really. Transmuter might not be the greatest against that deck. Actually, let's cut the Transmuter too and just play the ice out. Fine, that's it. Now let's try to have a good curve out. Good starting 7. Thank you. So now I have the option to use the Tempest Heart. Draw 2, discard 2. I mean, even if I have the perfect hand, if I have nothing else to use with the 2 mana, well, I mean, I could just bounce that thing. They get another Surveil, but then again... Well, the Gatekeeper... Okay. Well, actually my game plan here is... Well, I want to play the Tempest Heart before playing the 6/5, because this will pick up a counter. I was thinking that this is my turn 3 play, then this could be my turn 4 play. So do I want to use the Adventure now? But I think my turn 4 play will always be Tempest Heart. Because I don't want to miss out on the counters. Okay, I can take 1 per turn. I will just use the Tempest Heart's ability. I will. The thing is, I do want to have all these lands, but maybe I draw 2 more or 1 more, and then I have something to discard. It's a card neutral spell. I mean, I will still have the Tempest Heart available. Oh, that's now a reason to actually bounce that. This is of course a sorcery bounce, so can't do it right now. But now I will bounce that thing. But yeah, I will have the Tempest Heart available still, and now I'll just draw 2, discard 2. Well, it's going to be 1 forest, but I mean, I can't really... I won't be discarding any other spells here. Just the forests. Okay, so this won't tap for mana unless I actually use it. You use it for, you know, these expensive stuffs, but like I said, I want to play the Tempest Heart first. I think this is a good turn to just bounce that thing. Next turn, Tempest Heart. Then maybe I would draw even another blue source, so I could double spell a Trojan and the Sleep Cursed Fairy. Who knows? Well, I did, in fact. So actually I'm supposed to do this maybe in a little bit in a different order. If I play the Heart now, my next turn is still going to be these things. I'm gonna actually do this. Do this now. Just to get the Sleep Cursed Fairy down. They are actually missing white mana, but they have their land drops on. Okay, another Dream Spoilers, sure. Well, I'm happy now that I discarded 2 forests. Now, how greedy am I gonna get here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7, counting that. Well, I can No, I can't untap. Well, or use the ability, because I can loot, actually. That's the best thing to do. I want to loot. It costs blue mana. I won't be looting now, because now I can threaten a block on the witch. But I don't need this unless I... And even if I draw a Groove Triplets, this can tap for green. So, this is the best thing to do. Again, I'm taking some damage though, but I guess they can't attack with the witch now unless they kill a creature. Which they yet haven't done. Yeah, I have some pretty strong stuff. I might actually be saved by the fact that they have something. Well, I can always play a 6-drop on the next turn regardless. So let's make them use their stuff. I might lose Trojan now. Or the Tempest Heart. Well, no, I don't know what was going on with that. Okay. So now I'm going to just probably get the blocker down with the scry, because board 2, get the scries. Yeah, I don't know why they attacked with the witch there when I had 2 blockers. Okay, I don't. I guess if I draw the island, I can double spell the gatekeeper and the witch stalker, or the gatekeeper and the bear down here. So let's draw the island actually. Also, if they kill the Trojan, I will still have mana to use it. This has trample, so yeah, they probably want to just make this Dream Thief go to graveyard so they can draw a card, but I still got to trample the 3 over there. I think this game is... Oh, they even didn't do that. It's not the sorcery speed activation. No, it's not. Okay. So let's see. How are they gonna deal with the stuff here now? Of course, now I should be quite easily winning here unless they have a Wrath effect if they draw a second Plains. Because this 2-2 isn't going to now outrace my board. Even if they, I mean, they of course can play up to 5 mana worth of cards now, but I mean, they can't really put similar amount of stuff on the battlefield or deal with all these. Now, I'll just pre-combat here. Let's actually do this. Just to get the trigger going on and just make sure I can use the Explorer. And now I have of course a couple of options. I could even untap the fairy here. But they have the -1/-1 available right now. So let's just play the Witch Stalker post-combat, because this of course can attack. I have multiple creatures that allow it to attack. So let's see what they have. Can't imagine them having anything too amazing here. But maybe there is a card that really does something crazy here. It is possible, of course, to have another Plains, but they would have to draw it. And then the 5 mana Wrath effect in the format. But I'm not going to play around that. I'll just play the Witch Stalker here. And hope to win on the next turn. They're looking at 9 damage or a jump block. That's only 3 damage and then -1. I guess they can have a... Yeah, they can have another instant here. Or they can just also block here. But they could have their Not Dead after all here. That would allow the Dream Spoilers to come back. But that's fine for me. I have enough. Yeah, they didn't even have that. I have enough. You know, pressure despite losing 1 creature. Now, all I care about is that they don't have a Plains into the Wrath effect. Which I did not see in game 1, but it's a card in the format. It would wipe the board now. But since they haven't done that, I don't think they have anything there. So let's just attack with everything now. I guess I maybe wasn't supposed to attack with the Trojan because I have the loot and an Evolving Wilds I don't exactly need, but anyway. Alright, so Kellan's Light Blades. Well, I did sideboard in the Water Wings. It's a nice counter of that, because this gives, you know, hexproof and flying and makes a creature bigger, which doesn't actually work that well with some of my creatures, but it's still good with some of my creatures, and it's more important, it just saves a creature that's about to die from a targeted effect. I also like the Eyes Out actually against Kellan's Light Blades, because when you are using this on an attacker, you can't really play around counter spells, because I will have my mana up when they use this. And of course, when I have a blocker myself, I can still have mana up for this thing. Did I want to change anything? I will be on the draw. The transmuter still, making one of the guys into a 1/1 is barely relevant. It's not worth playing just 3 mana, sorry, a 4 mana 3/4 here. And I still don't think the Witch's Vanity has enough targets. I mean, I don't want to splash it. If I had mainly color black, of course I would play it, but not gonna splash that one. I think this deck is as good as it is gonna be in this matchup, so let's just hope I get another good curve out here. Okay, well this is a 2-drop. I can get the swamp if I want to, but it depends on what I draw. If I draw like a Groove Triples, of course I would probably get a forest. But yeah, I have now a 2-drop Trojan. I hope they don't have the 1 mana flyer here. I wouldn't want to take damage straight from the beginning of the game because they have those, ways to, wicked tokens and the stuff that make me lose a bit of life here and there. I wouldn't want to start immediately going down to 19, but I'm probably, since they have a play, they have the Dream Thief again. That is a really nice card, by the way. 1/1 flyer, surveil 1, and then utility in the graveyard. It's a very, very nice quality card. Okay, so I would want to play the tapped land now. I didn't draw a Groove Triplet, so I'm gonna get the swamp here. It's my only swamp in the deck, and I have more opportunities to draw more green. I don't like seeing this start again. That's exactly what I hope not to see. Yeah, they didn't have a 2-drop, but they have now a 2/2 flyer, and I this time don't have a means to deal with it. My Witch Stalkers aren't going to actually matter here. It is a little bit unfortunate, because I might just lose because they had this specific combination of cards. If they just started with a 2-drop ground guy, 1-drop nothing, 2-drop 1 ground guy. Now they actually have these evasive creatures in here, and I am in trouble. I got my fair at least. So again, this thing isn't gonna tap for any mana because I have nothing to cast with it. So I think the best idea here is to play this, to make it start untapping at some point, and then I have a nice double block for the Conceited Witch here. Okay, this thing barely matters now, for now at least, because I have the blockers for it. So if I only take 2 here, I think I can live with that. Okay, another Trojan here. Well, I'm probably just playing the Tempest Heart. I don't have double green actually, so the Hollow Scavenger I can't make the food and the creature. Now what I could do is actually I could go for the Tempest Heart, the scan the clouds and then use 2 mana to remove a counter for that from that thing. That might be worth it. Let's do it now. Because I can just discard the second Trojan, I don't need it. They are legendary. Okay, I'm gonna discard that, but what is the other one? It's not going to be Water Wings, that's actually nice here. But it really won't be the Crystal Grotto either. I think the worst card here is probably... it's either the other Trojan or the Hollow Scavenger, but I have of course so many expensive cards. Not maybe so many, but enough of them. And there's the looting utility that maybe it's worth. I get the Scry, this is the second green, also it's a bit clumsy second green, but yeah, this is tough now. I could see maybe not having the Grotto here also. Okay, I think I'm gonna discard the Grotto. So now I have... I'm not going to kill the Dream Thief right now by, you know, using the Water Wings. I'd rather use this as a counter to their removal. And I can use 2 mana to untap the Sleep Cursed Fair here. Well, it doesn't untap yet, but, you know, get the one of the counters away. They still have 4 cards. Oh, Spectre, that's not gonna do anything. Well, it's still good as a 3/3 flyer, of course, in here. But it's also something I can deal with, maybe, by using the Water Wings here. Alright, so now that I don't have the Grotto here, of course, that's kinda awkward. Because I can't, like, play the Troyan and use 2 mana for either the Water Wings or the untap here. Now what I could do though is... Now I'm kind of worried that they might have a Kellan's thing there. So I really would want to untap this and then make them use the removal, and then I can still save it by giving it hexproof. It's going to be an awkward thing to do, but I guess I get food from here and food from here, so I can maybe take some damage. It's more important to, you know, not because I saw removal effect from there. I need to have the Water Wings up, and I'd prefer to have the untap ability too. So I suppose I'll just try to kill the Dream Thief. And then when they have a Kellan's Light Blades, I can respond to that with the Water Wings. Another option would be just to have the Water Wings on the Witch Stalker and have a block on the Mortality thing and here, but I don't think I like that plan as much. Okay, that actually happened like this. I don't mind necessarily if they don't have a follow-up here. Because now I can use the Sleep Cursed Fairy to just try to deal with the Spectre of Mortality and still maybe have the Water Wings up here. Okay, land was great because I did want to play a spell here in addition to having mana up for the Water Wings. This is looking actually good here now. It might be time to play the Troyan here. I could also do the return from the wilds though. Okay, I have nothing for the Troyan yet. I'm gonna make a food token for myself. I prefer the life now. And steal the land, of course. I will get a 3rd green here. So now I have the Groove Triplets mana here if I ever happen to draw it. Okay, they still have a lot of cards I haven't seen them use, so I wonder what's up with that. Maybe they are just lands. Do they have a land drop? Okay, they have a Knight of Dows. Again, no enchantments yet. They could give the Spectre, of course, now a counter, a Royal Roll token, because that's what I've been seeing them have. But I think more likely is that they have a Not Dead after all. Which is gonna be awkward, because I can save my Sleep Cursed Fairy once. But then this will be a 4/4. Yeah. I mean, actually that means that I'm not supposed to even use the Water Wings now. Because the 3/3 doesn't kill the 4/4, but the Water Wings I can use for that purpose. So I'm actually letting this thing go. It's kinda bad, but it's a risk I have to take here. I'm gonna get the life here. Yeah. It's a risk I have to take here. It's time to start also playing some of this stuff here. So the problem is they might have still the they might have the Kellan's Light Blades too, and they can actually sacrifice the Wicked token. So I will be in trouble if they have that. Shatter the Oath targeting what only? It doesn't target any of their things. Interesting. Now the problem is I don't actually want to use the Water Wings here, because I want to be able to block the Mortality. Because if I now use the Water Wings, I have a Tempest Heart, but then I lose. I'm actually letting this one go. They actually messed up in a way that they do not. They could have given a Wicked Troll token to any of their guys. They chose not to do that. Oh, they are now going with this attack as well. Ooh, this is kinda awkward. I mean, I guess it's not that bad of an attack. Well, I'm gonna go for this. I have to do this now. Here and here. This has hexproof, by the way, so they can't target it with Kellan's Light Blades. I don't know what was I talking about earlier. But they're gonna get the 1-1 here now. And of course I still lost my creature. Well, the 1-1 is gonna get dealt with. Okay, there's still a chance. That was a good draw, for sure. Then I can do this. Or I can... Yeah, well, I'm gonna do this. And then I can, on the next turn, play... I have 9 mana. I can play both of these. Have they run out of things to do? I mean, this is not a good attack. I can double block the witch. Not gonna use the food yet. I might need it to pump this guy. I'm not gonna play any more lands either, because I will start, of course. I will start looting and I will discard the extra lands. So now I could attack with a 3-3, but I'm not taking that risk now, because with the looter I think I'm now able to you know, have a better top decks in here. They also, by the way, have drawn 9 lands, so if in the first game they had like 5 and then all gas, now it's pretty much different. Alright, well, I'm drawing some lands too, but okay. Fine. I think attacking with the 6-5 does make sense, because that's a lot more damage. Okay, I mean that is just fine if they're gonna use 2 cards to deal with the Gatekeeper. That's totally fine. Wow. I guess they could have taken, you know, 6 damage there, going to 13, but I'm happy about this outcome. Maybe they have a way to bring something back there. Even if they do, I don't think that was the... Well, anyhow, I'm definitely not surviving yet. I need to hit something good. Return Triumphant. That's gonna draw them a card, but it's still acceptable. It's gonna attack and it will be a 3-3. They will get a 1-1, of course. Yeah, the Knight of Doves can be annoying here, because yeah, I need to get the stuff that allow me to raise. The reason I attack with this is that I need to win the game before they find the tools to beat me. But now that they had they used 2 cards for it, but since I'm still drawing here, okay, this is starting to get annoying. They drew another, you know, reasonable spell there. I mean, I must draw some spells now. There is no way I can keep drawing lands and still win the game. So let's do it. Farsight Ritual. I unfortunately won't have the luxury to bargain because I will need the food for either the scavenger or 3 life. But I'm gonna still. So this look at the top 4 or instead. If you bargain top 8, I think in top 4 I will have good stuff. So let's do it main phase. Not bargaining. Dragon and the oath thing. Well, I don't think I will exactly be exiling, although they might have. No, I need the only bargain for there is the food, and it has a purpose already. So I don't think I can do it. The dragon is of course gonna block the flyers, so that's great. Now they might have the white enchantment, you know, that exiles my creature, so that's why I'm thinking about the oath. But I kind of prefer the Coralsmith. It has a more relevant body. So I'm gonna take the Coralsmith and the dragon here, and I can actually get a nice scry too here because I can cast the dragon here. Ice out will be it will be a good backup, of course, to have a counter spell available. So I'm at 7. I'm not dying yet. I hope they don't keep drawing relevant spells. They had a good turn. That is good with the Knight of Doves. I need a monster, you know, the thing that fights. That's what I need. I'm gonna loot right away. That will be important. Okay, that's more, I guess, deck thinning, but also more food. I don't have to get a land. I can get also just a I mean, I'm getting food regardless, but I could take a 1/1 and a food. But then again, thinning the deck could be, you know, somewhat important. Although I have a land on the bottom, so the thinning aspect is not gonna actually matter. It would only shuffle the Evolving Wilds there. I'm not gonna get a land. The 1/1 token is also more bargain fodder if I happen to need one. I won't be playing the Coralsmith though, because I want to have Ice Out mana up. So let's do this. Token and a token. And now if they attack with a bunch of stuff, I have blocks, good enough blocks in here. I can't attack with my flyer though, I need that to block their stuff. So let's just pass another turn here, and I have the Ice Out now up. In case they have the whatever removal it is. Well, that's unacceptable. I would just lose a lot of life. They have, by the way, a good deck. Okay, let's counter that. They did draw, you know, they had flooding, but then they draw multiple good cards back to back. So I wasn't really able to kind of stabilize the way I wanted to. I still have a groove triplet somewhere in the deck. I also have only 3 minutes and 30 seconds time, so I should stop. You know, wasting too much time here. Okay, they had nothing there. Am I gonna loot into a groove triplets or just play these things both? I think the both are good enough to warrant doing this. And I think I need to start attacking now, because I think I have enough blockers. I don't have really time to think about too much, but I have a strong blocks in here, I believe. So let's do this. I need to win before I run out of time or run out of life. I have 6 life here, of course. Which I'm not going to necessarily... Okay, I'm gonna use one of them. The scavenger can only be activated once per turn anyway, so let's get some life here. Candy Trail, that's going to be a nice... I also have the other flyer, the blue and black card. Okay, so come on. Let's please... Oh, come on. Not like that. Let's draw one of my very good cards. There is one very good card, so... Destroy an artifact or enemy. They will get the 1/1 flyer though. That's not so great. Maybe I won't be... Maybe I'll just cast the card instead of use the ability. Yeah, I can't even do both. So I'd rather do this. Two minutes should be enough now. They might get the, the enchantment-based removal, but they didn't. Because that would of course be great against that. But this is a card they can't really block that well, except with the Slumber Keep card. They can actually activate it 3 times. It's threatening to be a 10-10. Okay. I can't attack with the Vanguard. As long as they have mana up. So I need the flyer now. So let's loot. Come on. Come on deck. There's a Groove Triplets and the blue-black Mythic Flyer. Both in the deck still. Okay. So here I'm gonna say 3. That's probably the value that's most useful. And then I won't attack into the Keep card. I don't know if I have like a lethal attack, but maybe next turn I will attack with everything. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ground attackers. The only one is gonna... Okay, they can block everything but the 1/1, so it's not... I mean, I have a lethal attack in the air anyway. That's 7 power. Besotted Knight in there, doesn't matter. As long as I must prevent them from getting any blockers. So they should attack with everything that has a token on them, because the Knight of Doves gives them jump blockers. But I have a now lethal attack in the air. Also, they can't attack with the... Well, no, the Keep guard... sorry, the Besotted... They will actually take their... Okay, well that does... Because... okay, they lost some life, but also allowed me to draw a card here. So now what they are supposed to do is attack with everything that has a aura on it, but I will just take the damage because I'm effectively at 16 here. So, I mean, nothing here flies. I just have to double check I don't make a stupid mistake. They have no cards in hand. I can simply attack with the 7 in the air. They can't make their creatures die. I don't think so. So this is lethal now. Okay. Wow. 1 minute. And still the Groove Triplets. That was somewhere in the deck. Not the bottom 6, because 3 cards were scryed to the bottom. So in my bottom 3 cards was a Groove Triplets. But I didn't need it. I had other means to win. Okay, again one of these hands. Now this does scry. Now if this was a 6 card hand, I would keep with the scry and this fixing my colors and this, maybe allowing me to cast something at some point, but at 7 it's a mulligan. Alright. Well, there are my bombastic cards. Sadly though, I am not exactly sure what to do. Well, maybe I am. I want to have the 2-drop. I'm not going to have the Return from the Wilds. I'll just, ditch the Stormkeld Vanguard. Just hope that they don't have any good target for the Bear Down ability, because that would be annoying. He's gonna get me a Forest, of course, and then I can get the Swamp with the Return from the Wilds. I still need to get the triple green at some point, but it's not like I'm not gonna get a Forest here. Swamp, I mean, when I have this. Oh, come on. Well, let's have the low impact cards away, and I mean, it's not great to be on the play mulligan and then face this kind of an effect immediately, but what can you do? So I didn't draw a land yet. Yeah, I mean, a classic. They are just messing with cards and mana while I'm stuck at 2 lands. This will be incredibly hard. But I will try, of course. I mean, how am I gonna get resolved? How I'm gonna resolve these things? At least they are not pressuring me, so it could be worse. It could be that they had like an aggressive start here. Okay, so there is some pressure now. But I can make it into a 1-1 if I don't draw a land. Okay, well that's a problem. I can make that into a 1-1, but it will still have death touch, but I guess I can trade with the death touch using the 1-1, but I will take 7 damage now if I don't jump block. So yeah, it's not gonna really look that good, but I have to. Again, I'm losing because I missed out on the early development here. Again, I had to mulligan one lander with a and I have a 17 land deck, so it's a little bit of a. I mean, I would understand having 5 landers, and this deck actually would keep a lot of the 5 landers, I can only imagine. Now, I mean, playing stuff like Curse of the Werefox into open mana is just horrible. I kinda want to just play the Transmuter Reed. It's the least mana efficient play, but at least this is gonna do something to the Scream Path. Yeah, well, they have a spell stutter, so much for that plan. I'm not even gonna attack here, it's not even relevant. I will have to block with the 1-1. Because I, of course, will go down to 5 from the assassin. I can untap, or, you know, make it... I can make the last counter go away, but it won't untap. Problem really is to... I have to double block the Scream Path. That is the problem. And they still have all these cards in hand. And double blocking a Death Toucher is always a little bit unpleasant. Well, I guess I'll just do this, whatever. I have to hope they have like 4 lands in their hand. But I guess it's another counter spell. Yeah, I mean, that's just... I style miss land drops, they get to develop a board and then hold up counters once I start hitting my land drops. That's just a recipe for a lost game right there. Now, how to do... I didn't see actually, other than the Stingblade Assassin, as a card that can deal with my creatures, so that the Water Wings would help. This doesn't help against counter spells, so I'm not going to use that. Do I care about the Witch's Vanity? Well, definitely not, because I saw 0 cards. 0 creatures I can kill with it, so nope. And is there something particularly bad? No, the guide is actually gonna be good against the 2 flyers. I saw 2-1 toughness flyers I can trade with the guide. And Transmuter will be good because they have the big thing there. I don't really think I want to cut anything. Spider food. Well, if it dealt with the Scream buff, I would use it, but it's not needed against those 2. I think this is fine. Fine deck is still. I don't know if maybe the 2 mana 2/3s are not that great, but I assume they might have some land creatures too. Okay, let's keep a 7 card hand. How many 1-landers have I had in this event? Well, it's just not a keep. There's nothing that... I mean, I would have to be extremely lucky to try to do anything with that hand, so... Let's forget about that. And here I'm just gonna put a forest away, because I'm gonna scry into, hopefully, an island, actually, or the other lands that can get me an island. Return from the wilds. That's actually not, you know, what I need here. I need an actual land drop that ideally produces blue. Again, mulliganing to 6 on the play. facing this discard effect right away. I mean, I'm gonna put the fairy away because that's no longer a thing I need. I would have discarded this if I, you know, had that in my hand, but okay. I guess even in best of 3 you can just have a so-called non-matches. Because in best of 1, of course, you have only one game. And that's, if you lose to mana issues, that's it. But now I'm actually having 2 games where I lose to mana issues. At least I have this guy to block there. So I can use the Tempest Heart now. Am I gonna raise here? Probably not. I don't wanna lose my blue mana source here. I do hope to get... Okay, actually... I'm gonna do this now. I know I could have hit my land drop, but I really didn't want to get countered. So I'm actually just choosing to do like this. Even though that misses a land drop here, because it's more important to get to resolve the spell. And now I got my blue source in here, and now I can play the Return from the Wilds, which they still might counter, but oh well. Okay, they have some kind of trick, I don't care. I don't need the mana anymore, so they just wanted me to lose my mana. Okay, let's... I don't actually want to scry now, because I will shuffle the deck unless this gets countered. So let's just do this. Land and... I guess the 1/1 is slightly better. I don't expect this thing to resolve though, but it did. Okay, so I can get my island. So am I... Well, that's fine. There's the annoying scream part though. Well, I can hard cast this and maybe trade with this. I have the land for the next turn, so I might as well scry now. That's like almost good enough, but not. It doesn't trade with the scream buff, so I'm not going to have it. Play this. And next turn, I mean, this is a cast trigger, so this will become a 4/5. I'll just take the damage now. But again, they had the assassin here while I was struggling, so they have this unnecessarily fast clock here because I couldn't do anything in the beginning of the game. So now they have... Okay, they actually... How many counter spells they play? Well, 2 of them got milled. And now they have an Ice Out in their hand. Fantastic. Sorry, not an Ice Out, but the spell Stutter, which will counter my next spell. So, not great. But do I want them to counter this thing? Because they would counter this if I don't play the land first. No, I actually want this thing to be in the game. The problem is that I'm taking 7 damage going down to 4 here. I guess I actually have to jump block the scream puff. I kinda don't, because once this is a 4/5, I can actually double block so that they lose the scream puff. But going to 4 when they have the 3/1 there is just... Yeah, this was a non-match actually. I mean, now it seems like I have a good place, but it all was decided in the beginning of the game where I had to mulligan. And they can still counter everything, so yep. When they can apply a board presence and I do nothing in that time, and then they can hold up a counter spell, that's just not gonna work. And both games had the same stuff with me mulliganing and missing land drops. Okay, let's see. Alright, this is fine. This is fine. I mean, it's still not great if I don't hit my land drops, but I assume I get at least one quickly enough, and of course I do hope that the Territorial Witch Stalker is the kind of a 2-drop that matters, because in the previous matchup, of course, it was also very bad against what they had, so maybe I was supposed to just, you know, sideboard them out. Okay. So I can get my fairy out now. Ideally just draw a land here. No, well, I mean, it was a good draw for when I hopefully get my land. But is this gonna be another game where I do just miss a land drop number 3? Well, what are they thinking here? There's nothing they can do to the fairy because of the ward. Brave the Wilds. Okay, they want to start. Okay, I do hope that I get my bounce spell. It would be nice to bounce a land and make it a non-creature again. Also, the Witch Stalker is not good against the 3/3, so my wish didn't get granted where I hoped that this would be a relevant 2-drop. I guess I just hope to draw the land now and I can cast the Return from the Wilds. But we'll see. No, it's just... Well, okay. Now the Curse of the Werefox can be used to deal with the planes, so that's nice. And of course if they want to use this for mana, it doesn't have Vigilance. They can't attack with it, so assuming they play like a Hollow Scavenger. Now if I draw a land, I think the Curse of the Werefox was a very nice draw. Because, I mean, whether it's the Fairy or the Witch Stalker, I can deal with the planes. Alright, so they might have... you know, imagine if they have like a Titanic Growth. Because they decided to rather attack than play the 3-drop. So not exactly mana efficient. Because if I now fight and they have a Titanic Growth, that will be horrible. That's absolutely horrible. So I'm just gonna do this. Get a 1/1. Get a basic land, which will be an island now with the double blue in my hand. I can find the black sauce with help of this card draw. Because now I have a double block here available. Which wouldn't be that great for them to lose the planes. So if they still attack, I think I'm gonna actually make them spend their trick. It can be either Titanic Growth or it can be the monster roll token from the instant speed adventure. But if they're gonna like, whichever they're gonna have here, it's going to mean that they have only 1 mana left. I guess they can still have a royal treatment after that, but I mean, I'm not gonna play around them having both a trick and a royal treatment after that, because of course I will just deal with the planes. Then on my turn, unless they do have to happen to have a royal treatment. They played the land already. Did this enter the battlefield? Yep. So they have 3 mana up at most. Okay. So now now that they're actually they have 1 white mana up, but there's no royal treatment for white mana, so I guess they can still have a +2/+2. Oh, they actually can. Oh boy. That's horrible. And they had a priority there. Okay, well, I'm actually just gonna go this very slow route here. Because the Curse of the Werefox, if they have the +2/+2 that there's a white spell, if I use the Curse of the Werefox on the Fairy and they respond with that, that's basically almost game over. Here I actually have a block on the 3/3 again, because I can pump the Coralsmith. But it is kind of funny how because this thing untapped the creature, it was allowing them to have a potentially commonly played trick in the format that would make this play a huge disaster. So I couldn't really take the risk there, especially because I had this a fairly, you know, good play available with the Coralsmith, which I'm definitely going to use for blocking purposes if they want to continue attacking. Also getting the Scry 2 is such a nice little reward there. So let's see what they have this time. And do I still have the opportunity to play the Curse of the Werefox dealing with the planes? I don't need to deal with it, but it would be nice to rid them of 1 mana, although they have now enough lands that I don't think it's that relevant. Well, it depends on what they do and what I draw, of course. Okay, they do that, for some reason allowing me to block first. Okay, I think my deck wants to draw 1 forest, but no 2. Okay, now they could have a Royal Treatment, but that at least is not a catastrophic thing. Because it will give this thing a hexproof, so the fight just won't happen if they have that thing. So let's go for this finally. Okay. Now I'm of course clocking them with this 4/4, and if they want to deal with it, they have to pay additional 2. And of course I have nice ways to still play relevant things here. Okay, that... I guess I will see if they have the 2/2 now. Not much I can do about it. I mean, with the 2/2, I mean the +2/+2. Because this thing has reach. So, I mean, it seems like they have. It seems like they have, but then again, it doesn't seem like they have anything on my turn. Maybe they have like a sorcery speed effect on it. I don't know. Yeah, they probably have something like that. Anyway, I'm gonna do this because I can cast this adventure on the next turn. Maybe they have the 1 mana adventure sorcery speed that adds a royal roll token from the Besotted Knight. They still haven't played the Scavenger, which is funny because they chose to attack with the planes instead of using it for mana, because they would have this on the battlefield and I would be at 17. But of course I wouldn't be at 17 because maybe the Scavenger would have been able to do something in the meanwhile, but I suppose I'm happy it went like this. That's a good one. But as long as they don't have a block here, well, they might start tapping, but it's actually gonna cost 5 mana to tap the fairy with that thing, so it's not something I'm too concerned about. They also have only 1. Okay, they actually had a cheeky house mouse. Now that was the 1 mana effect they had. Alright, alright. Okay, but why would they attack now? I guess they want to trade that thing. Oh, this can't be blocked, so I was the fool here. Because this has other abilities than just... Yeah, I couldn't block it with the big creature. Anyway, now with this... I would have actually preferred to have the Prowler before I use the Storm Reading, but can I even... Can I even use it? Because now it seems like I should just play the 3/3 in here. They can animate this into a 4/4. Yeah, this is a little bit awkward now. I guess it's still better to just do like this and use the storm reading here. Drawing 4, discarding 2, one of which will be the Trojan, is going to be quite valuable. I could do it on my own turn to not miss a land drop, but I think it's better to have mana up for the untap here and this as a blocker, which could matter a little bit. The thing is, they are basically top decking, so I should not be too worried about losing resources here as long as I can make sure I can cast all this stuff in the end. I will be drawing 4, discarding this and something else that's not so good. So I will have a lot of gas. Of course, this will also help me keep drawing gas. So I have to just make sure I'm not gonna die too quickly. So they're gonna make that into a 4/4, which was to be expected. And then they can't really attack with the rest of the stuff into the Sleep Cursed Fairy though. They can attack with the 4/4 and I can decide to either take 4 or jump block with the 1/1. Or there's also the option to untap the Sleep Cursed Fairy and trade with the 4/4, but then I wouldn't have mana to cast the Galvanic Giant's Adventurer, so I won't be doing that. But they don't know that I don't have intention to untap the Fairy here. So if I did this thing on my main phase, they would know that I'm not gonna untap it. Did they draw a spell? I mean, this was a top decked card. Is that a pump spell? Is that a pump spell? I guess what I want to do now here is to double block the Tough Cookie and take 8. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm assuming that I will just use this to load away the other Trojan, actually. So I'm going to block the Tough Cookie. Do I want to deal with the Tracker or the Tapper? Don't know if the Tapper is even that relevant. I can keep untapping this. As long as they didn't get a pump spell, I think this is the best stuff I can do here. But I guess I'll see right now what they did draw. Okay, they didn't have. They just wanted to push damage. But now they no longer can activate the 4/4 unless they have another Tough Cookie. Okay, they have a Scavenger. Okay, so let's loot and have this thing go away. Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna do a little bit slower now. Can't use this for mana. I know I could just play this as a 3/3 and this as a 2/1, but that's probably what I'm gonna do actually. I will have 3 blockers, so that should be enough. They can tap 1, because this can actually be a lethal attacker. I guess if I wanted to really play safe, I would just untap this rather than play this. That's true actually. But this is my way to win. If I'm forced to block the Scavenger, that's problematic because then I don't necessarily win on the next turn. So yeah, let's do this. Let's just accept that 7 mana is just too much. And because it's such an underwhelming 4-drop, it's just not a very good card. It's just very hard to get a situation. Even when I have the Trojan for the extra 2 mana, I don't get the opportunity to cast this for 7. Because it's still 7 mana for something that doesn't affect the board at all. At least a 5 mana sorcery, draw 3 and make a 1/1 flyer that can't block ground guys. That still gives you a 1/1 flyer that can block flyers, or you can use for bargain purposes. So now they can win if they have a +2/+2 with the bargain effect. They can make this guy fly. So maybe I was supposed to leave the sleep cursed fur. I just wanted to have also with a win here. Okay, Dutiful Griffin is gonna be good, but yeah, I wanted to have the opportunity to just win here. That's the thing. That's why I wanted to not make this into a potential blocker of the Scavenger. Okay, they are using some time, actually more than me this time. They have 10 minutes used up, I have 7 minutes used up. Well, they don't really have that great of a block attack here, because if they attack with the Scavenger, I will just block with the Explorer and the Galvanic Giant. They can make this into a 5/4, but they will lose it regardless, and of course I will lose only 1 creature here. So that's, and they might need to leave this to gain 3. Okay. That's how they chose to do. Now they actually don't have to, now sack the food. But this is fine for me. I can't bounce that guy. But I can make this. Yeah, that's actually quite a good draw, because I can make this into a 4 power creature, so they have to block both of these now. I will lose my fairy, but they also will jump block with the guard here. And I can even deal 1 damage. So this was a great draw. Oh, I had the win there. I forgot that I actually have 8 mana, so I could have first used the bounce spell on the guard. And then I can tap this for mana and play the Gatekeeper. And they would lose, because they wouldn't have this block available. So that was just a straight up mistake. But of course they still are in quite the trouble. But I could have just won the game. Assuming they didn't have like a royal treatment, I suppose. If they had a royal treatment that was actually a good play, then I wasn't supposed to target their guys with this thing. So yeah, let's say I played around the royal treatment there. I didn't mean to, but in the end, that's what I did. Because then actually if I go and try to bounce this thing, they have a treatment on it, and then this doesn't go to exile in that case, and I can't cast it, can't make this go bigger and all that. They can't get this back, they would need 2 enchantments and they have 0, so they have to just go for jump blocks, but of course I can try to get a win here. I could even play this and bargain it away to have 8 cards, but I guess it's fine enough to just look something from top 4, and maybe I can win on this turn. By the way, they can go to 5 life here, so they are not forced to. Okay, well now let's not make any stupid mistakes. This and this will be my stuff. This actually taps as well, so let's tap the mouse here, because I don't want this guy to stay alive. So this will be a 1/1, and they are forced now to jump block. Oh, but now it's actually lethal. Yeah, because this 1 damage is going to matter now. They block the 6/5, and they can use the food to go to 5, but this is actually still 5 damage total. Okay. So green-white. Tough cookie. Moment of Valor is actually their main deck card. It's pretty good against my deck. Also Stroke of Midnight. I feel I might be interested in having the Water Wings, but also the Troublemaker Oath could be something because it can deal with the tough cookie. But then again, I also saw a Dutiful Griffin and I saw the Twinwheel Guide. So maybe I should have a Spider Food instead because this also deals with the tough cookie. I feel like that's something I might want to do. That's like three good targets for it. And they might have the, because they're playing white, they might have the pacifism removal as well. What's the variant's name after all? And I have to just, get rid of the Galvanic Giant. I am now confident that, I'm convinced that this is just too awkward. Neither half is good enough. So even if you get the two cards in one, it's too slow, too clumsy. I guess in a deck that has maybe just more use for the tap abilities, you can use this as a 4-drop and then have. But then again, you can't have a deck with a ton of 5 and plus mana drops, so maybe not. I haven't actually resolved the Groove triplets at all, so let's see if that can happen in the event. I need to make a decision about the final cut. It could be just a Candy Trail. I think I'm gonna take a Witch Stalker away instead. Alright, I'm keeping this. I can loot away extra draws, extra land draws. And I at least have, enough lands to not miss. Because I have lost games to not hitting my land drops. I only need one of the 6 mana spells to make it a turn 4 play with the Trojan. Okay, they start. Okay, well. I mean, why couldn't I draw like this when I started with 1 landers? Are they gonna deal 6 to me? It's possible. I would myself play to the board if I had, but I don't know what they have in their hand. It's possible that was the best play for them. Okay, well, I guess I did draw just 3 lands after keeping a 5-lander, so this is the other end of the spectrum that I was in the other end in the games where I had to mulligan and still keep low land counts and not draw them. But I'm not totally dead. I mean, they can activate these. I actually could block the tough cookie itself. But if they have like an untapped land, it could be a little risky, but they are not going to go for that now. If they just attack with the cookie, I'm not going to block. It is a free attack for them. But it's too risky, I don't want to lose my looter now. I will take the 2 damage. Because of course on the next turn I can use the Water Wings to block. Spider Food, well, that is nice. I can loot. But let's kill this thing now. And I will still leave this as a potential blocker. I didn't want to loot before deciding what to play. I wanted to play the Spider Food here anyway. But they have now represented a trick by attacking, so of course they're gonna attack now again. Well, now it's pretty simple. I'm not gonna block a 4/4 with my Trojan here, so no blocks there. And do they have anything else? Nope. Okay, let's loot into something very good, shall we? That is good. Guess I don't need 4 forests, so let's discard a forest. This might still be needed for the swamp. Well, I guess I'm just looting right away then. And I can ditch this. And do I want to crack that? Not necessarily. I think I'm gonna get my swamp now. This means I'm gonna go down to 4 and I lose to Titanic growth now. Because I'm not going to jump block. But I drew a lot of lands now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total. So despite the looting, I didn't really get anything too amazing here. And they are stuck at 3, which means that they are not running out of gas. Now I have the Farsight ritual here. But I don't like going just to 4. I know I can go back to 7. And I could have played an untapped land to make sure I don't die to a giant growth, but I also want to actually thin my deck even more. Are they doing something before blocks? Okay, they have... Well, that's an Archon's Glory, that's a 6-6. Do they have another... Okay, they just wanted to push damage through. Okay, okay. Well, I am still at... By the way, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basic lands, but some non-basic still left in the deck. Okay. Well, if they had a pump spell, they would have used it. So I think what I'm supposed to do here is just Water Wings and I will still loot, I would guess. Yeah, they have nothing there. Now, is there a haster in there? Well, I have still a blocker, so I guess there's no flying haster there. I'm gonna attack with the Prowler here for sure. Okay, I am at 2, but actually at 5. Not on this turn though. I would want to crack the food now, as soon as I can. And I won't be using it for bargain. Okay, another one of those. Still no land drop, which of course could be very good for me. Okay, there is that. Well, that's going to give me another food, I would believe. What I want to do now is that I want to crack this. So effectively I have, because this I don't have anything that I can use this mana for. I'm effectively now at 4 lands. So it's gonna be the Farsight ritual now. Let's just do it. And well, I take the dragon and I'm gonna take the Coral Smith too. So as tempting as it is to just play a Prowler, I still have 6 lands, so next turn what I can do, I can play the Prowler and I still have the Archive Dragon up thanks to the Trojan here. So I'm just going to gain life. And I'm gonna, you know, I'm willing to at least consider blocking with the Prowler, but I think if they do attack, I will just block with the Trojan maybe. Because this is gonna be a big creature very soon. Okay, that is a problem card. That is a problem card, so I need to win fast now, before this gets out of hand. But I have the means to do that. Okay, this is also good for the dragon, but it's more important to just play this and play the dragon. I don't need the one counter for this thing, it's more important to have this stuff now happening. Transmuter is gonna be good enough, let's do that, and I will attack with this. They can tap one of my guys, not the Ward 2 really. Or they can have a land drop and tap the Ward 2 guy, but then they have no leftover mana and I can still trade with the Red Tooth Regent here. So because I need to win fast before this gets out of hand, I am going to attack with this Prowler here. And hopefully... I mean, they shouldn't really have a win here. I mean, I guess they can, of course. They have so many cards in their hand if they have cheap interaction. But I'm at 5, so they need... Well, I guess they don't need much. Okay, they don't need anything else than a pacifism on the Prowler and a Titanic Growth. Then they will have 2 attackers. I can only block 1 and Titanic Growth will be lethal anyway. I'm really happy if they choose to block here the Prowler. I am extremely happy if they block the Prowler here. Wow. Now... maybe they have like the rat effect. We will see now. They would probably play it now if they have it. But I have a refill here. So I wouldn't actually... it wouldn't be the end of the world if they have the rat. But the block kind of indicates they would have the rat now. And they can either save the both Trojan and the Frostbridge Guard or let everything go away. Okay, they kill that, which is fine. Now, I can't use this for mana this turn, so I have 6 mana here. I think it's gonna be the Coralsmith, and I'm still getting a land with this thing rather than a 1/1 token. Although the 1/1 token can be used to block. Okay, I'm gonna attack here regardless. I can't increase its size now. The food is really tempting, but so is the land, and is the 1/1 token too. Okay, I'm gonna get the food and 1/1. I kinda don't need the land, but... well, I mean, I guess I don't need the land. Okay, Glow there in there is fine. If they attack, I will double block with the Coralsmith and the 1/1. They can only actually trade with the Coralsmith. I wouldn't double block with the Trojan and the Coralsmith because then they would have a choice which one of these they kill. I'd rather make them kill the Coralsmith. And I get the very nice Scry here, of course. I can make this into 1/1 with the Transmuter. And here we have Candy Trail, Vanguard. Well, I'm going to be able to use this mana for the Vanguard. But if I get the Candy Trail first, no, it should be like this. Because now this is gonna add mana and this is going to be, yep, exactly like this. Trigger the Prowler here. And I have 2 options here. I can either tap this and make it into a 1/1 flyer, or just make myself go to 8 life. Now the thing about the 1/1 flyer is that then I don't have mana for this, and they would still win with the Titanic Growth. If I go to 8 life, they need +5 damage. It's actually better idea to gain the life instead. Next turn I can have more life gain. Then again, there is one consideration, is that if I make it 1/1, well, it's too late now. I mean, I guess it wasn't too late, but if I was to make it 1/1, I was also better to attack with the human token. I'm getting more life there. Okay, Knightly Valor is not enough. It wouldn't have been enough for the other play too. It has Vigilance now, so this is a free attack. But do I have a win? I don't think I quite do. Because they can jump block. They can't block the Vanguard, but they can. So I can make this now like this, and they are forced to block the Prowler and take 8, and then I will do this, and I will gain 3 if I need. Well, I will need it. Oh, but there's a Gatekeeper, but sadly no mana to... Well, there would... I mean, if the next... it's not enough. I mean, I can draw a card, but then I don't have the mana to use it. So I guess I have to just... Well, I will lose 2+2 damage. They can't get this back and enchant with it. I mean, there's nothing else for me to do here. Because I also couldn't... I mean, there was one other thing. I could have looted into this Gatekeeper, but that would have used up my only blue mana. I wouldn't have had mana for the entry denied at that point. So now I will just lose if they have plus... No, +2 is not enough. I'm gonna go to 6 here. What was the other card? Witchstalker. Yeah, let's just go to 6 right away. So if they have a... if they do have a... 3 extra damage now, I will lose. Well, that's only 2 different cards, or a Titanic Growth. So they're gonna have to go for it now. I have 13 minutes, they have 12 minutes left. Well, I mean, they are thinking for quite long, so if they do have the win, there's first of all, there's nothing much really I can do with 1 blue mana. Second, if they don't win now, I will win on the next turn. Now they can still win here if they have the Kellan's Light Blades, because they can sacrifice the Knightly Valor. No, it's not actually. Yeah, if they sacrifice the Knightly Valor, then this is just a 1/1, and they have to block with this anyway. So they can maybe kill this in my combat. Okay, well they had nothing. But if they use the Light Blades, they would have to bargain it, because this is a 6/5, so 3 damage is not enough. But the only thing they can bargain is the Knightly Valor. The cursed token is mine, they can't sacrifice that. So if they bargain this away, this would be a 1/1, this dies, but they still have to block one of these, and it's a trade. Okay, well that was that. So that was an actual ramp deck. Despite playing 17 lands and some other mana sources, had some trouble in the match 2. Basically I lost because of mana issues. 2 games back to back. I never got to resolve my group triplets, at least I don't think I did. I resolved these like a couple of times. So the most impactful card, I think they were the Archive Dragon and Gatekeeper. And also the Stormcloud Prowlers did grow in size a couple of times. So yeah, the best cards in the deck I wasn't able to use, but I still won the 2 matches. So in the end a decent result, but it's a shame the match 2 went how it went. Okay, but at least a little bit of a different deck. I think I had like one of these blue greens earlier, but it wasn't really a ramp deck, but this was an actual ramp deck. Too bad I didn't have any of the 2-drop ramp cards, the Fawns, or anything like a Utopia Sprawl here. But I didn't see them in the draft, so that's why I couldn't have them. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next draft. Bye bye.